Hello everyone, Vampire218 here, bringing you my Pheromosa Spotlight. So, let's jump right in. Like I said, this is my Pheromosa Spotlight. Now, the reason I'm choosing Pheromosa is because A, it is the 6th used on the ladder, but B, it actually answers so many mons that I didn't realize it answers. So, being 6th used with 16.97%, and 10.47 real usage. Now, going over to its page over here, we see why it is such a monster. A base 151 means that you are outspeeding everything in the current meta that is not scarfed. You're not going to see too many ninjasks on the ladder. 137 in both of its offenses means that this thing is going to be able to hit you like a truck and roll you over a couple times. The rest of its stats are actually pretty mediocre. 37 in defenses are garbage, and 71 in HP means that this thing can't really take more than one hit. Even one hit, this thing's probably going to die from. Now, we're going to look over its most common move sets, and then I will explain why I've put this on here the way it is. Moving on to its most common most common move sets, actually, rather, sorry. We do see that Scarf is the #1 item, and I will explain that when we get back to the set. You also have the option of Focus Sash, Life Orb, and some other items that are less than 10%, which we're not going to talk about those. We'll talk about the first 3 when we get to items. Spreads, there are various spreads. I will explain my spread when we get to it. Moves, 91% on Ice Beam, 70% on High Jump Kick, U-Turn at 63%. I have switched up this, and I'll tell you why, to Bug Buzz when we get to it. Poison Jab, 47%, and then Bug Buzz, 39%. Going to the teammates, this is very important because you need to actually pair this mon with the right teammates, or you won't be able to use it right. This thing hits fast and it hits hard, but you need to pair it with things like Lele to prevent that priority, because you cannot get hit with a priority move or you're gonna go down. Mega Metagross allows you to have a physical answer, whereas this thing can be physical, special, or mixed. You have Greninja, most likely Ash Greninja, doing some heavy damage in the meta. Celestelia is good, and then even everything else on here is pretty good. But let's jump to my set and why I made it that way. Jumping over onto my set, here is what we have. So you can see it up here, but let me just go ahead and fix that for you. Here we go. So I have chosen to put 400 into speed. The reason I put 400 into speed is because this allows Pheromosa to outspeed everything in the meta that is not scarfed. With the scarf, we outspeed everything in the meta. Looking over at the second, like the closest mon that is non-mega, because megas can't hold a scarf, we see the closest that you can get non-mega without a scarf is 399. So we put 400 in here and a scarf, just in case Ash Greninja wants to wear a scarf. Now, the reason Ash Greninja is one of the few mons that we're actually afraid of to a degree, and why we pair with Lele, is because Ash Greninja can very easily get Water Shurikens off on us, which means we want to pair with a Lele to let Lele set up its terrain, preventing the priority moves. Now, going over what we are actually going to be using on this. Now, Bug Buzz answers quite a few things in the meta right now. It lets you hit things like Mega Metagross neutral, we hit Lele pretty good, we hit Greninja very well, and we're outspeeding all of these things as well. And that's what's important, is that we're going to get off a massive hit. And usually, we're not switching in Pheromosa on these. We're already at a Beast Boost, which raises our highest stat by 1. Our highest stat is Special Attack. We already outspeed everything. We will be locked into one move, but we will be locked into the strategically best move for the match. Ice Beam lets us hit things like Landorus, Therian, which, as we go back here, is #1 on the ladder. It also lets us hit things like Garchomp and Dugtrio, which are 8 and 9 respectively. The other moves, we have Poison Jab to take out those pesky little fairies like Finny, Lele, and Tapu Koko. However, with Lele, it is going to be really dependent on what your first move is. You generally, if you've got a Beast Boost, are going to have wanted to lock into Bug Buzz, as it'll do more because of your Beast Boost to Special Attack. Other mons in here that even get hit hard by the ice beams are, you know, Excadrill, add a little lower down. You know, this thing has answers though, and that's the biggest issue, is that's why you need to pair it with your teammates, and that's why you have to play smart. You know, things like Ferrothorn, wall this thing all day. The best you do to a Ferrothorn is a high jump kick, and then you get hit with the Rocky Helmet damage, and the Rocky Barbs damage, and the Steel Barbs damage, and all of that extra damage because it's very defensive. Sure, you take out a lot of its health, but if you miss, or if it protects, or anything, you're gonna be eating the biscuit. Going back on over here, we are just gonna take one last little look, and then my final thoughts on this. So the closest thing that can really hinder this is Alakazam. And yes, Alakazam has 438, but it can't Scarf. So you gotta watch out for knockoff. Knockoff will be an issue for you, because if you lose your Scarf and you go up against a max speed Alakazam or any mon that has above a base 400 speed, you're going to be dead, because you cannot take more than one hit. Now, we've chosen Poison Jab over Hidden Power Poison because Poison Jab is what you're going to want to use against the mons that you're using it against. Tapu Lele, Tapu Fini, these have, I feel, the chance to poison, obviously not with Finny with its terrain, but the chance to poison is a little bit more important than the minuscule extra damage you get from Hidden Power Poison. And I did the calcs on this. It is very minuscule until you get a Beast Boost, but you definitely do not want to lock into a Hidden Power Poison or even a Poison Jab unless you know that all of their steel types are down. In closing, the bug fighting type Pheromosa is very, very solid, and it's one of the best mons in the ladder right now. It answers so many of the other mons in the ladder, and I want to know what you guys think of it. Do you like it? Do you not? And if you're watching this on the day it came out, make sure you check out the stream later. I'm going to be giving away these bad boys. I will see you guys then. Bye!